Hi, it's Jenny Wright. Welcome to List Build and Lead. I hope you're having a really great day. And I'm going to try and help you today with a couple of mindset tips on the 9 different stories that you're telling yourself right now that are keeping you from being successful. So, if you're like me, then at different points in your life, you've done things or you've not done things that have held you back. And you may have done them out of fear or worry or anxiety or just telling yourself a story that didn't serve you and kept you stuck. And I know this is a little bit different than what I normally do because normally I take you through a step-by-step how-to or really cool tips on some of the technical side or list building side or lead generation side. But what I've never done is talk more about the mindset side. And the mindset is super important as well. Like it's really, really important. And it's the things that sort of hold you back. I can teach you all day long about tech and I can teach you all day long about lead generation, but if I can't help you overcome some of the crap that you're doing inside your head that is actually going to help you be more successful, then you're missing out in a way. You're not getting everything that you need, and I want to give you everything that you need. So we're going to talk about this. And a lot of the stuff we're talking about today is stuff I've actually experienced myself, struggled with, and overcome. So here's a really good example. I actually started my career working in a big box retailer. So I was putting myself through university. My parents had paid for the first 2 years and then they weren't paying for the rest of it. And I still had 2 more years to go. And so I had to find a way to pay for it. And I got a job at this big box retailer. And I was working there 4 days a week part-time, sometimes up to 30 hours a week, and it was paying for my schooling. I was actually able not to incur any student debt as a result of working for this big box retailer. And I was working as a cashier and, working in the bakery, in the photo department, in the food court. I pushed buggies outside. I did all the things, okay? Whatever I could do to make money, I did within this company. And when I graduated with my degree, I didn't pursue getting a job elsewhere because it was really safe to stay there. There was a good job, it was good money. I had benefits, I was getting regular pay raises, I didn't have to ask for a raise. They came automatically depending on how many hours I was working. I knew the people I worked with, it felt very, very safe, and I was advancing slowly, albeit, but I still was advancing. So I was very content to stay there. I ended up staying there for 14 and a half years. Like, holy crap. I could have, had I left earlier, I could have found a job in my chosen field and worked in that. However, I didn't. And it worked out that I didn't because I ended up learning everything I know about marketing, pretty much working in that job. And as a result, I'm able to do what I do now. So it all worked out. But at the time, there is an argument to be said that I was staying there longer than I should have. And I could have left sooner, maybe 4 years sooner, and pursued another job. So this is a real life example of staying stuck. And I've got 9 different ways. Some of them are, close to each other, but I've got 9 different ways that this all sort of relates to each other. So I want to dive in on this. And if you're with me on this, let me know. Pop a 1 below. Let me know that you're actually totally on board with this. You know what's going on. You've had these stories come up for yourself, and you're ready to hear some solutions, right? So number 1, if I try something new, I'm probably not going to succeed, or I won't succeed, right? So if I try something new, chances are I'm going to fail. Therefore, I do not need to try something new, right? We tell ourselves that all the time. And if you don't like change, and I'm not a huge fan of change, but if you don't like change, this is a really good way to not make any changes. And we've all made really big changes in our lives, from buying a new house or starting a new relationship or launching a new business or changing the way your business runs or making space in your business for a new thing. Like, there's always changes you're making in your business. And if you're not, making some scary changes occasionally, then you're not going to be making the progress that you need to be making to be successful. That's my argument on that. Number 2, I'm not good enough at X to make a change to doing Y. And I've got a real good example of this one. So a lot of you know my story. I started out as a VA. I started out working on Fiverr. This was after I left, having had a corporate job for several years. And I started working on Fiverr just to get my feet wet in the in what we do in online marketing. But I didn't know I could be a coach. I wanted to be a coach, but I didn't think I was going to be a good enough coach to be able to have a coaching program and having coaching clients. So I honestly thought I was not good enough at coaching to make the change to being a coach. And I kept telling that story over and over and over again, and it held me back. The first summit I did was a complete and utter failure, but it was partially, I made it happen. Like, I made that failure kind of happen. And one of the ways that I made it happen was I didn't want to be a coach at the time because I didn't think I could be a good coach. And I was trying to grow a list build for a coach. So I really wasn't bought into my own idea. And that is just one of the reasons why it didn't fly. And I own that, right? I own that crap. So I know that. And I would never do a list build like that again without being super attached to the fact that I'm making a change, or I'm going to be a coach, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, right? So number 3, it's too risky. If I do this, I'm putting it all online, and it's way too risky, and oh no, right? So we're risk adverse. We always move away from pain. That is human nature. We usually move away from risk. Now, there are those daredevil people who move towards risk. Good on you. The rest of us move away from risk just naturally. And so we risk adverse people just go, this is too risky. I'm not sure if it's going to succeed. There's not enough probability that it will, so not doing it. And that's a really big story that we tell ourselves. And that, I mean, that is throughout life, not only in our online digital, marketing worlds and our businesses online, but in relationships and with people and with, doing something like going on a roller coaster or whatever it is. These things play in. It's too risky, right? And that keeps us from doing things that will actually turn out for us. Yeah, there's a risk involved, and sometimes it doesn't work out. That's life. But if you do a calculated risk, like, building a summit is a calculated risk. There's a lot of factors, and sure, things could go wrong, but there's a lot of ways to mitigate that risk. And if you do all the things to mitigate it, then chances are really good that you'll be successful. If you do all that work, the pre-work on it, spend the time, learn the things, put the time into figuring out your ideal client, finding the right experts, building a beautiful opt-in page, doing a nice opt-in video. If you do all those things, each step that you do right is mitigating risk and increasing the chances that you'll be successful. Get it? Awesome. Okay, onwards. Number 4, it's too hard. Too hard. Can't do it, too hard, not going to do it, right? So change is hard. Doing things that are unfamiliar to you is hard. Doing things that are familiar doesn't create stress in your life, right? And doesn't make you stretch. And if you can do that, if you can, just keep things the way they are without stressing yourself out, then it's a-okay, because too hard is not going to work for you, right? And that's a story. So we have to embrace it sometimes. You've heard people saying, like, embrace the suck, or you have to embrace, a little bit of discomfort to make it to the next level. And that goes for anything, sports, financial matters, all these different things. You have to embrace that it's challenging to get to the next level. A lot of people say if it was easy, everybody would do it. Well, it's true. If everybody could do what you're trying to do with your online business, they would do it. But they wouldn't do it as good as you want to, or as good as you're going to, right? So that's just a really stupid story that we tell ourselves, and we really need to stop. Next is, I love this one. It's already been done, so there's no point. It's true. It's already been done, but it's not been done by you. It's not been done in the way that you do things. It's not been done with your spin on it. Okay, there are lots of people out there who have worked in different genres, who've come before you and done it really, really well, but they've never done it like you have. And so there is a benefit to having it done by you. Absolutely, there are people who've done what I do, who talk about digital marketing, who talk about list building, who talk about lead generation. There are huge people out there who I admire greatly and respect greatly, but they've never done it like me. And I'm not saying I'm all that important, but I approach list building from a different perspective, my perspective. And I approach lead generation from a different perspective because it's my perspective. And what I teach clients helps them in a particular way. And so there's people who are drawn and attracted to working with me because I'm able to provide them with something that they need, right? Either I'm the right price, I have the right information, I provide them with the right feeling, I provide them with results. Whatever it is that draws them to me, that's because it's my perspective, my way of doing things. Therefore, yes, it's been done, but not by you. So wouldn't it be great if you did it too, right? So we just completely squashed that one. Number 6, I'm not like those people, the really successful people, and what works for them will not work for me or has not worked for me. So setting the bar really low. These are low expectations. And let me tell you a little bit about this. So you look at the big people who've come before you, or people who are your contemporaries or are doing it right now, and they're super, super successful. And you're like, no, I can't do that. That person got 5,000 people on their list for their summit and $100,000 in sales, and that's never going to be me. Or this is a good one. You did a list build before, and it wasn't successful, didn't pull in all the people that you wanted, therefore list building doesn't work for you. I have heard that so many times. And then I get them to do a summit, or I get them to do a list build, and wow, they're successful. How did that happen, right? It's because we had to get them over the crap they were telling themselves. I'm never going to be successful in this because everybody else has already done it, kind of like the one I spoke about before, number 5. But this one is, what works for them won't work for me. I'm a special case. I'm different. I can't do that. Well, again, you're holding yourself back. I'm not good on video. Well, you can get good on video. I'm not good at writing copy. Okay, you can hire somebody to do your copy, or you can just get better at writing copy. And you get better at it by doing it, right? I hate being on video. You guys know it. I hate it so much. And it's not that I don't like talking to you guys, because I love talking to you guys, but I don't like hearing my voice on video. I don't like seeing my face on video. When it comes to post-production on these things and they have to be edited or sound quality changed or anything like that, I cannot listen to my own voice, right? And I think a lot of people can identify with that. Hopefully not my voice, but maybe their own voice. Maybe, hopefully you like my voice. But I just can't. I can't do it. So I've had to get better at video. I've had to work on my video presence. I've had to work at looking at the camera. I've had to work at creating an outline. I've had to work on the lighting and the sound. I wear a mic. I've got a ring light and different lights over here. I've had to work on all these things to elevate it so that I can deliver something of quality to you. And that came out of me going, it works for them, but it doesn't work for me because I'm poop on video. Well, I'm better on video, and I'm always improving myself on video, right? So this is a story that we tell ourselves that is definitely keeping us from doing the things that we could possibly do if we really wanted to. So next, my family doesn't get it, and I don't want to freak them out, or I don't want to disappoint them. And that is all about judgment. You don't want people to question what you're doing and go, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. That sounds silly. That's kind of weird. What are you doing? I don't understand any of it. What do you mean you're doing stuff on Facebook? Like, how are you doing that? I don't understand. What's a digital course? What's an online challenge? What's a summit? Like all these different questions, right? And feeling that judgment of having to explain it and having people go, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it, right? Or even worse, doing it, telling them about it, and then not being successful at it, or possibly not being successful at it. So when I started this business, I was trying to explain to my significant other what a digital summit was, what list building was, all these different kind of things. And I wasn't really good at explaining it because I was so fearful of being judged that I didn't really explain it well. I was very nervous about it, and I was anxious about it. It created a lot of stress and anxiety in me to try and explain what I was trying to do. And as a result, that person didn't really get it at the time and was like, yeah, I don't really get it. I mean, congrats, go for it. I mean, they were incredibly supportive, but they just didn't get it. And then later, when I took the time to calm down and explain it and really sort of embrace them into what I was doing so they could understand, holy crap. That person was so phenomenally supportive and wonderful and excited and really, really got it and really, really helped me in the end by saying, hey, what if you did this? Or, wow, I read up on that. And I felt like there was more of a connection. So funny thing is that when you feel that there's going to be judgment, you can actually you can bridge that gap and actually get closer with those people by, one, trying to take the time to explain a little bit. And I mean, yes, there are instances where people will not get it, and that's fine, you tried, but don't let that stop you from actually making progress or taking the next step forward, right? Because whether or not you succeed, and you most likely can succeed, but whether or not you do or you don't, letting other people judge you and keep you from doing things that you really want isn't helpful for you. It's healthy for you. So you really need to step forward and do the things that actually are going to work for you. The next one is, I'm going to look foolish in front of my peers if I don't succeed. So this is more judgy. This is like double judgy, right? So your family or your significant other may not completely understand what you're doing. And so they're not going to be, the judgment they're going to give you or possibly give you is not the same as your peers would, who actually see you fail or see you make a mistake. And this is all like, we're talking potential mistakes here, right? Nobody said that you have. And it's almost that fear of, what if I put a video out and I get no likes or comments or shares? Or what if I create a challenge and 5 people sign up for it, and my peers see that? I'm a failure, right? Weird thing is, they started at the same place as you. Okay, everybody started with 0 list. Everybody started with nothing. And depending on when you started in digital marketing, you may have done a list build and gotten 5,000 or 6,000 people to sign up. That happened in 2010 and 2011. It was normal. It's not normal now because we're a lot more discerning, right? So the weird thing is that, everybody starts somewhere. Don't worry about looking foolish because you're not. You're learning. Every time you do a list build, you learn and you apply that knowledge to the next list build. Or every time you do a sales cycle, you learn and apply it to the next sales cycle, right? So there's all these different things that you're learning. Don't worry about being judged. I know it's hard. And it takes a bit of a thicker skin to do it, but it's that mental talk every single day. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do the best job I can, and that's going to be good enough for me today. And the last one, number 9, is things are okay just as they are. Yay. And honestly, no, they aren't. So if you're a VA and you're working 10 to 15 hours a day, which is completely realistic for some VAs, and you've missed going to hockey practice, you've missed having dinner with your significant other, you missed putting the kids to bed, you've missed doing this, watching Downton Abbey, whatever it is, then it's not okay, because your goal is to be able to spend more time with your family or do more activities that you want to do, or stop trading dollars for hours, right? So if you're starting out as a VA, as an example, and you want to be a coach, how are you going to get from being in the trenches and doing all that sloggy work to getting over into being a coach and not having the dollars for hours, actually like getting paid for packages that you create and doing that sort of work, right? Where it's a lot more rewarding for you because that's what you want to do. How do you get from there to here? Okay. And by thinking things are okay at spending 15 or 10 or 15 or even 18 hours a day in the trenches and thinking that's a-okay because that's what you've done for so long, you're keeping yourself from trying something new. Hell yeah, it's scary to go from here to there. Trust me, I've done it. It freaked me the crap out. Going from, I was a VA, I started, if you know my story, I started out on Fiverr. I was making less than $5 a gig. And I went from Fiverr to a site that was more like Outwork, which doesn't exist. The site that I was on doesn't exist anymore, but it was kind of like Upwork. Sorry, it was Upwork. And that's where I was making $25 a gig or $40 a gig or $50 a gig or upwards. And I wanted to get to the place where I was an OBM, an online business manager. And I also wanted to get to a place where I was like a funnel builder or a list build expert. And as I've puddle jumped from one thing to the next, there is always that feeling like going up a roller coaster or just, getting it to the top of the hill and looking over, that feeling of butterflies in your stomach just before you make the leap. Because honestly, if this is safe and working 10 to 15 hours a day, you can do it day in and day out. And over here is like, I don't know, then getting from here to there is really scary. And this is, you know, getting from here to there, making that cliff jump is where we tell ourselves it's okay not to. And then we stay back here. And I've done that so many times. I tried to get out of VA work 2 or 3 times. I stayed in VA work for 5.5, almost 6 years, when I wanted to be out of it after 3, because it was making me money, it was supporting my family, and it was safe. I knew I could do it with my eyes closed. I could load emails. I could do all the things I was doing, but I wasn't loving it. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to be building funnels, and I wanted to do all sorts of different things in terms of coaching, and I wanted to do things in terms of digital course creation and all these, you know, all these awesome things that I'm really keen on and passionate about, that I wasn't keen on and passionate about in being a VA, right? And so maybe you identify with that. I'd love to know if any of this sort of resonates with you. So let me know in the comments. That would be really helpful. Just put a 1 in the comments if this is sort of resonating with you. You've done these things, you've heard these stories, you've told these stories to yourself, and let me know. And what the really cool thing is that I'm going to be talking about these particular stories that we tell ourselves and the mindset piece, as well as the technical piece, in a upcoming challenge that I'm going to be running. It's a free challenge called the Level Up List Build Challenge. It's going to launch on December 9th, but I have a page open for you guys to register your emails at leveluplistbuildchallenge.com, and that's set up now. You guys can head on over there and you can just register your seat, and that way you're set to go for December 9th. It's completely free. It's going to be about a 5-day challenge, and I'm going to show you guys definitely some technical stuff that'll help you level up your list builds, but also cover some of the stuff that we talk about in our heads and the stories that we've created to keep us from being successful, right? So we're going to go in depth on that, and I'm going to really show you guys what I show my clients so that they can have successful list builds, successful summits, successful challenges, webinars where they close loads and loads of clients. I'm going to lay it all out for you in this 5-day challenge. Okay, so check it out. It's leveluplistbuildchallenge.com. And in 2 weeks, I have a very special guest. Haley Lynn Gray will be on the show. Haley Lynn Gray is amazing. She's got an incredible Facebook group called the Women's Entrepreneur Network. It's got 63,000 women in it. She does a lot of amazing things, but one of the things she does is talk about paid traffic. And we're going to dive into some tips and tricks on paid traffic for you guys. She's the first guest on the show, and I'm really, really excited to have her. So make sure you're there in 2 weeks for that. Okay, guys, hope this was helpful. Thanks very much, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.